Hello YouTubers, welcome to today's tutorial. So in this tutorial I'll be showing us how to make a petticoat. Okay, this is a step-by-step guide, and if you watch this video to the end you're going to learn how to make a petticoat easily. Okay, so if this is what you're interested in, please do well to like, share, subscribe and turn on your notification bell. So I have my hard net on the table. You can use your hard net, or you can use any other light cotton fabric at all that you desire. So I'll be using hard net. As you can see, I folded a 180-degree flay. If you do not know how to fold a 180-degree flay, there's the video on my channel, so check it out. So I folded a 180-degree flay, and this I used 3 yards of net, even though I did not exhaust the whole net. Okay, so all I'm going ahead to do is to mark. Now please take note that for the petticoat, except you want to, probably if you want to make it for yourself, otherwise it's advised to use a big waistline. Okay, so I think at the end of the day I had a waist about 40 something inches. I made this video before now, so I cannot remember accurately the measurement I used, but it's because it's not just for one person, it's a petticoat that I'll be renting out, so I made it a wide waistline. I know it was about 46 inches for waistline, so divided by 4, I think I had about 11 and a half width. Okay, of course, because if you're making your 180-degree flay, it has to be divided by 4. So for the length of your petticoat, you have to ensure that it's not long, okay, because we want the petticoat to sit in the gown and we do not want it to touch the ankle of your client. Okay, so you have to measure your client or use a lens. If it's something you want to rent out, you have to use a lens that would not be so long, that would sit, that would hang. Let's say that's like a 3/4 length. Okay, so for this petticoat I used a length of about 35 inches if I'm not mistaken. Okay, and this is a length that will sit for somebody that is tall or average height, anything between 30 to 35 inches. Okay, so I've gone ahead to do my markings, as you can see, and the next thing will be to cut out. Okay, so guys, like I said, this is a step-by-step tutorial, and most will be learned by watching. Okay, so I'll be giving us room at some point, probably when stitching or when I'm doing one thing or the other. I'll be giving us room to watch, and I'll just come in to drop a few words here and there on needed explanations or essential explanations. So guys, if you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed, please do well to subscribe. Do well to give me a thumbs up, share, most importantly turn on your notification bell so you get notified when I drop new videos. So I'm done cutting, and all I'm doing, as you can see, I'm opening up the net, and then I will take it to the machine and I will close up the net. Okay, yes, so as we watch you would understand why we have to close up the net. So I'll close it up and I'll show you guys what I've done. Okay, so guys, as you can see, I've gone ahead to close it up, and this is what it is. I've brought the side that I close is what you can see at the center beside the tape. So what I'm doing now is to measure the length of the petticoat, because at this point you want to insert the create channels for the boning. Okay, of course you know that a petticoat has to be sturdy, so you have to determine the number of channels you want. Do you want 3 channels? Do you want 4 channels? Okay, but for this petticoat, I had 3 channels apart from the base. Okay, so if you're including that, I hem the base, that's a channel on its own. So apart from the base of the petticoat, I had 3 extra boning channels. Okay, yes, so divide the length of your petticoat by the number of channels you want, and then the answer you get is what you use to mark the lines for your boning channels. Okay, so that's what I'm doing right now. I went ahead to mark it round, and because this is white, I was using a yellow chalk at first, but the lines were not so clear, so towards the video I had to use a marker just to point the places where I'll need to stitch. Okay guys, so I'll leave us here to watch the video. Pay close attention. If there's anything you don't understand, just take it back and you watch closely, or do well to drop me your questions at the comment section. Also, if you haven't subscribed at this point, this is me reminding you to subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Okay, do not forget to share as well. This video will be helpful to a lot of people, and the more people we get to watch this, the more recommendations this channel will get, and of course our videos will go very fast. So thank you guys as you participate. All right, so I'll leave us to watch them. So guys, this is the material I'll be using to create the bias, the channel. I'm going to create like a bias. If you know how to make your bias with your fabric, I'll be using this fabric to do that. I just cut it straight and made a bias. Okay, and since the round was very long, because of course you need something very long, I joined some of the bias together. Of course, this fabric looks like a satin fabric, but it's not totally satin, but it looks like satin. I just found it in the market, and of course it was going to give me what I wanted, so I went for it. All right, so this is me joining some of the ropes, of the bias ropes, because I needed extra length. Okay, so if you have the length you want, why not? You can go ahead and use it. Also, guys, I must mention that the size of the bias you're making is dependent on the size of the boning that you're going to use. Okay, now if you're going to use a very small size boning, you can as well use your bias. Okay, but the boning I used for this petticoat is a 0.6 inch boning. Okay, so it's a little bit bigger than a half inch boning. It's the next size after the normal half inch boning. Okay, so of course I had to make my bias. If you're making your bias, make it a little wider, just a little bit. So my bias size was 0.7 inch. Okay, so yes, so that's what I mean. Not too big, it wasn't even up to 1 inch, but just something that will ensure that the boning passes in freely. And when at this point you can see I'm attaching the bias ropes. Watch carefully on how I'm doing it, and when you're stitching, make sure you're stitching at the edge. Okay, at the edge, that's when you're doing the second round of stitching per bias rope. Make sure you're stitching at the edge so that you don't shorten the width of the boning. All right. And also when you're stitching, this stitch is going to go around the petticoat, so that's why we closed the hem, the sides of the petticoats in the first place. That's why we close it up, because we want it to go around the petticoat and then we'll finish it up at some point. Now if you don't do this, if you want to leave your petticoat open and attach these bias ropes to close up later, you're going to find out that when you put your boning, it's going to have a deep fold. It's not going to be totally round. Like at that place that has the joining, is going to fall in. Okay, and we don't want that. You're going to be having a petticoat that looks as though it was falling. So that's why you have to close it up and insert your entire bonings round. How are we going to get the bonings to fix round? Just stay tuned, and when we get to that point, I'll show you how. Okay guys, so you can see what we have here. This is what I was doing. So you can see I hemmed the base of the skirt separately. I didn't need to attach a channel because the hemming is a channel on its own, and you can see boning channels. Okay, so now for you to insert the boning, you need your boning. This is the boning I'm using. Then you need your masking tape, and of course your lighter. The lighter is to bond the edges of the boning so that it doesn't prick the client or the petticoat or the dress. Okay, so you're going to bond the tip of the boning and then go ahead and insert it. Like you can see now, if your boning channel is smaller or the exact size of your boning, you're going to find it difficult to insert this boning. But because I gave a little bit of ease, somehow as I was sewing, I even decided to add the size of the boning channel. Okay, just a little bit. So just add it up a little bit. Let it just be like quarter-inch bigger than your boning. Okay, so that it's going to pass in freely. Trust me guys, if this thing is too tight or if it's the exact size of the boning, you're going to stress inserting this boning into the channel. Okay, so just give it a little bit of ease and insert like you can see me do. And then when we got to the okay guys, I also need to mention that when you're stitching, you need to leave a little bit of opening. So when you're doing the final closing for your boning channel, just leave a little bit for where we are going to be inserting the boning and closing it up. Just a little bit of space, like 1 inch is fine. Okay, and it can be anywhere along the dress, but just make sure it's at different points for the petticoat. So if for the first channel I left an opening at the back side, the second channel the opening should be at the side, the third channel the opening should be at the other side, so that you have balanced pressure all around the skirt. Okay, so you can see I'm passing the boning in, and then I got to that opening. What I did was now to cut off the remaining excess boning. Then I used my masking tape to hold the two bonings together. Can you see that? Yes. So when I got to the end of that point, I cut off I made sure the bonings overlapped. Okay, the bonings have to overlap. Then I sealed it together with my masking tape and then closed up that place, and that's all. It's very simple guys, very, very simple. Alright guys, so I've gone ahead to repeat the process, the same process for the other channels. You can see at this point is the same thing I'm doing, closing up the boning and their channels like I explained earlier. And basically what next, the next thing that will be done will be to cut a band for our petticoat. Okay, so let me just explain that while this is going on. You go ahead and cut a band just like your normal skirt band. You can decide for your petticoat what do you want to use for the band. Remember I said for this petticoat it's not the exact size, the waist is wider. It's a wide waist of about 46 inches. So I used a band and a rope. I inserted a rope to the waist of the petticoat. You can decide on elastic or whatever it is you feel will be convenient for you. In fact, you can even attach an elastic directly, probably a 2-inch elastic or a 1.5-inch elastic. You can decide to attach it directly to your petticoat, just something to hold the waist. So you can see these guys basically done with the petticoat. And just to note guys, this is a big size petticoat. Okay, now you can see this. I told you I used a band with the elastic, and these are the channels. Now if this should go underneath a gown, I'll be showing us, because this petticoat is for a bridal gown tutorial. Please stay tuned and make sure you watch the whole process of the bridal gown. So this is going to be a very voluminous petticoat, and you can even decide if the volume is too much for you. You can decide to bone only one channel or bone only 2 channels. Okay, now look, I even boned the last channel, but somehow I had to take the boning off because it was bigger than what my expectation. So you can see that rope at the side, you can see the joining at the side, you can see the way the boning passed freely. Now if you don't do it like this, like I explained earlier, it's going to fall inward because of the weight of the boning. So I had to take the last boning or of the last channel so that I can have the volume I wanted, because this was too voluminous. The camera didn't capture that as much as I expected. So like I said, you can decide to bone just 1 channel, 2 channels, and you're good to go. Alright guys, so I really hope you learned from today's tutorial. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you turn on the notification bell for the remaining part of this series. Okay, like I said, it's a bridal gown series. You don't want to miss it out. Turn on the notification bell so you'll be the first to get notified when I upload my new videos and the remaining parts of this series. Thank you for watching guys. Stay safe. Bye.